my gosh. Hello, viewers, all one of you, which will probably be me later when I'm editing this.
So make it two, you and me both.
Yeah, both of us. So, this is our podcast called Bookish Brigade. And usually we'll talk about books, typically, but we're actually going to be. It'll alternate. It won't always be the same. It'll mostly be about books. Sometimes we'll talk about TV shows. Sometimes we'll talk about maybe hot topics that we want to talk about. And I'm sure at some point, one of our goals will be gaming stuff too. But that might be down the line,
I have
right?
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll inevitably happen. But we'll leave that down the line. My name's Kylie.
My name's Bailey.
I probably should have led with that. And so we'll usually do it in the mornings with our coffee. Because this is our first ever podcast attempt, there was a lot of technical difficulties on my side. So I got halfway through. But it's fine.
How's your coffee tasting?
It's still really good. It tastes even better now that I'm not stressed.
So did you watch the last two episodes of Bridgerton?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I did watch it.
Did it get better?
So, okay, how are we going to do this? Are we going to try and start from the little things in the beginning and then work our way up to that? Because there's a lot to unpack in the last.
Let's start with the small things in the beginning.
Okay.
So, what did you think of like the big moment where she's talking to Colin and by the way, there's gonna be spoilers to anyone who hasn't watched.
This is Bridgerton, specifically season 3.
Penelope and Colin, my favorite, if I'm being totally honest.
Really?
I think so. It depends on how the second part goes, but right now, I don't know that the ending of part 1.
Yeah.
I was literally screaming.
Okay.
What is you? You're not feeling season 3 yet, huh? Did it get better?
I'm sorry. You said a point at the end, and I forgot what it was, but I was gonna elaborate on it.
Oh, the carriage scene? No. When I was originally talking about the scene in I think it's episode 1, where Colin's like, I wrote to you and I didn't hear back from you, given I didn't hear back from many people, but if I must say it, I missed you. And she's like, you missed me. And she ate that up when she was like,
she did.
Oh my gosh. I was like, you go,
but you
girl.
can never court anyone like me. Like,
Penelope
pop off.
Featherington.
Yes. Yeah, pop off.
And he was like,
yeah, dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a hard time. I am a little bit more there. I will say it's only 4 episodes in, so I don't know if this might change after we talk about the next 4 when they come out, but to me he's my least favorite so far. There's nothing wrong with him per se, but I think he still, to me, has that, even if he puts on that persona of being like a man now that he came back from his travels, he's still, I don't know, he still seems like boyish to me. I don't know. I don't think you become a man overnight. I don't know. So I just feel like out of the other 2 seasons, I'm not quite there with the masculine.
So what I had actually read yesterday, I think, was that they're doing that on purpose because it's supposed to be hit. Because at the beginning of this season, he's not looking for marriage. He's not. Right. He's not mature. He's not really like looking for anything serious. And you could tell with like how he's talking about how he learned how to be charming and stuff. And then in the second part is supposed to be where he becomes like the actual man in the relationship.
Oh,
and
really?
Like kind of steps up
to that?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I read. I don't know if that's true or not, but I guess it's kind of similar to how Colin was in the books. So he was a lot less tame at the beginning, and then once he got in there, he gets a lot bolder.
Yeah. Well, and so I have to say, like, okay, we got to talk about this again. I know we briefly talked about this in the car, but even her sisters and the whole, like, you need to have a child and whatever the fuck. And I don't remember what the sister's name is. The one that's, I think she's younger.
Insets himself.
Yeah. She's like, "What? What are you
Insets
talking about?"
himself where?
That was funny. I feel like that was perfect. But what I realized, okay, I saw this on TikTok, but I was thinking it before I even saw other people post about it.
Mm-hmm.
She was looking really good this season.
Yep.
You
Mm-hmm.
saw that too?
Yes, and you know she's
Yes.
dating Benedict in real life.
Yes.
Aren't they so
Although
cute?
they are cute. It's a very like I don't know, you wouldn't really expect it, but she's really in this season in particular, she's really pretty. And
Yeah.
even I think the other sister,
Mm-hmm.
she's dating fuck the dude that's courting Penelope. What was
Oh,
Lord?
Lord Debling.
Yes, Lord Debling. I'm pretty sure that's what I said. I wouldn't bet my life on it, but I thought that's what it was.
Let's find out.
But yeah, I think her and Benedict are so cute, and they've been together I think for over 3 years now.
Oh, damn, they've been together for a while.
Mm-hmm.
She is dating Lord Debling in real life.
Yeah, they are.
He cute. I mean, I didn't mind Lord Debling. I thought that if Colin wasn't gonna step his shit up, Penelope could have ended up with worse, right? He was pretty
Yeah,
cute, especially for an older guy.
yeah,
I mean, I could put up with a vegetarian.
yeah. I like how back then it was like, oh hell no, he's insane.
Oh
That
yeah,
guy's
no, they're like he
weird.
talks to birds.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like if you heard somebody like that today, you would like that, right? Well, at least I would. Like someone who's kind of to themselves. They're like
Yeah.
masculine, or they're one with nature, kind of. Like
Yep.
I don't know. I didn't think it was that bizarre, but I do see what people were talking about because a lot of people uh thought that he was like they would have liked. Some people said they would have liked him over Colin, which I can
Yeah.
see. He kind of has like that masculine presence about him. The
Mm-hmm.
only point, because I did feel that way at first when he was courting her. The only thing that started to deter me away is when I can't remember her name. Heads up,
Cressida.
everybody, I'm horrible. Yes, Cressida. I'm horrible with remembering names if you're not the main character. But where she starts to like flirt with him, and then it was so easy for her to fetch his attention. And I think
Yeah.
that's when I was kind of like, I don't really like you anymore. Even though everything else
Yeah.
I did like
Well,
up to.
it's also because it's Cressida. Like, and she was
Yeah, it's like you really.
she, she was talking about the stuff that he was interested in, but then he goes and tells Penelope, I don't want someone who's the same person as me. Which, given that's when he like decides to turn his attention to Penelope and he doesn't really talk to Cressida anymore.
Right.
But it's the principle of like this girl. You started with Penelope and then Cressida was like, oh, birds, and you were like, I could get down with that.
Yeah.
And then you
Oh, I'm
told
gonna go
Penelope you wanted
get her a
something different.
lemonade. Yeah. Like the switch up was crazy. And then I did think it caught me off guard when she saw what Cressida was doing. And then she immediately starts like, "Oh, I love birds." I was like, "Penelope girl, no.
No.
You already got him in the bag. Stop. That is not you are too smart, Lady Whistledown. You are too smart for that."
Okay, but her flirting, especially at the beginning, was so hard to watch. And I could say
Yeah.
that because I'm awkward.
Yeah.
Like, it was so hard when she was standing with Colin and she was like at the beginning and he's trying to help her and she's trying to like get the attention of these guys, or like the guy at the ball where she's like, "Oh, yes, your gown looks beautiful too." Well, not your gown, but your dressing. I
Yeah,
just Penelope,
right.
stop.
Yeah, I was like, girl, it's funny because honestly, and this can be like people might like argue it, but in my opinion, Penelope is probably, and it's not just because she's Lady Whistledown, but she's one of the
Mm-hmm.
like most intelligent
Yes.
characters, and so it's funny seeing that aspect of her, especially when you see actual interviews of who she is in real life and how she is
Mm-hmm.
not like that at all. Like
Nope.
she is so, I don't know if she thinks that or how she perceives herself, but she has a very charming personality naturally.
She does. She does
Yeah,
have a
like
charming
if
personality.
if she if actual actress her was in an actual Bridgerton, I could see her pulling. Okay, she's just got that. She's got that dog in her. You know, that natural swagger.
I mean, it's it hasn't been confirmed. It probably never will be confirmed. But her and Luke are them two in real life together.
You know, he has a girlfriend, right?
For real?
Yeah,
No, he doesn't.
he does.
I
I'm not.
just saw. No way. I just saw something
Yeah.
not like probably like last week that said he didn't have a girlfriend.
No, I
Ooh.
saw something that he did, and like the girlfriend had posted like Instagram pictures.
I
I haven't seen him post about her, but I've seen her post about him.
You tell me I don't have a chance? I know I'm married, but I still thought I had a chance. Let's see what Cosmopolitan has to say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. And to my knowledge, I believe she's single, but I don't know.
I know she's, well, I thought I knew Colin was single, or Luke was single, but obviously I was wrong. It's because I saw a video the other day that said that he ended his last relationship back in 2023.
Oh, maybe that's what I saw. Maybe they're exes now. I don't know.
It was Jade Davies. They dated for like 4 years, and then at the beginning of 2023, they split.
Okay,
And
so
then
he's not
nothing's
really.
been like confirmed,
Yeah, that
but
probably is what I saw.
maybe. I think I'm just being hopeful because I'm definitely on the pollen train. And I know people are going to be like, don't ship actresses and actors in real life. It's not good for them.
Hey,
It's
they
not
know what
like
they're
I'm
doing.
stalking them. Okay.
Well, first of all, they know what they're doing with their advertising right now. Okay, so it's inevitable that one might feel that way.
The way his eyes just like,
Yeah, linger on her, and then they like
yeah.
kiki and ha ha about the carriage scene, and yeah, we didn't hear the director say stop.
Stop.
Okay, yeah, right.
I'm like, what
Give
were
me
y'all
that.
doing? What were y'all doing in the carriage? Because I want to know what, when they call cut, how far did y'all go?
That's what I'm saying. All right, I pulled up the article. Yeah, I mean, it says as of 2024, it seems as though he's single. So I think you're right. I think what I saw might have been old stuff.
Say less.
And then I also want to talk about a little bit more about Cressida and Eloise's friendship.
Yeah.
And I know we had kind of talked about this at the gym the other day, but
Mm-hmm.
I can see that there's some sort of, I guess, quote unquote character development for Cressida happening. Um, I still don't really like her, even if her and Eloise have some kind of friendship, because
Mm-hmm.
and the thing with her father, right? How she told her to stop talking to Eloise,
Yeah.
and she was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it anyway. I still don't like her because say what you want, like I can tell she has like parents that like are very pressing on her, but she's still always from season 1 treated Penelope like shit. She's nice to Eloise because Eloise has a better family name, and she always has been a little nicer to her, even though they weren't necessarily friends at that point. I know Eloise didn't like her. Um,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. I don't really care for her because you can't really say she's a good person if she's still just shitty for no reason. It wasn't like in season 1, her
Yeah.
and Penelope were fighting for the same men. She was just mean.
Yeah. No, it even when she stepped on Penelope's dress, like,
Mm-hmm.
and ripped it. Like that's such a shitty thing to do.
For no, like,
Like, yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Even if
and
you guys
like
like the same vibe.
the point you had made the other day was like Eloise being friends with Cressida over Penelope, but Cressida's she's still a shit person. So are you saying that
Right.
Cressida being shitty is better than Penelope doing what she did? When in reality,
Yeah.
Penelope was protecting her from the queen, right? Like
Yeah.
she was making sure that Eloise didn't get freaking, I don't know what they did back then, thrown in a cell.
Yeah. Well, and if you like actually think about it, I only thought about it now, but it's ironic because Eloise went from in the very beginning of the show loving Lady Whistledown,
Mm-hmm.
and then it ended up it ended up not. working that way. I think when it started, she started talking about was it her family war? I don't completely remember if it was. I don't know. I don't remember the disconnect of when she started to not like Lady Whistledown.
I think it started when she felt like Lady Whistledown could do better than just gossip.
Mm.
But that's what Lady Whistledown is gossip. But
Yeah, and Penelope
Eloise felt
admitted this season that that's one of like to Lord Devling.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
gossip. I love being inside.
yeah. Something that someone brought up was how uh Colin was talking about how dare Lady Featherington write about her, and she's like, well, it would be suspicious if she didn't, and it's like just
I know. It was like, why'd you say that, girl? Shut up. Shut up.
But so something I learned in the books, which I wish they would have done in the show, is that Colin was supposed to know she was Lady Whistledown before he proposed to her.
I would have liked that as well because now it automatically alludes to something catastrophic is going to happen, right?
Yeah. Or like she tricked him into like,
Yeah.
like he still
Yeah.
proposed to her regardless of her being Lady Whistledown. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, I wish
They didn't
that
like,
he,
rob them of that kind of
yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah,
No, I
because I
get
feel like
that.
that makes a difference to me.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, I agree as well. I would have liked if it was played out that way. It's so crazy because I just feel like the transition of that happened so fast. Like his like yearning for her. Obviously, it was mostly after the kiss.
Yeah. Do you see the way he just looks at her, especially in the carriage scene when he's just like, he fell hard after
Dude,
that
that
kiss.
carriage scene. Yeah, he did. He did. That carriage scene is wild.
Wow. Okay. So have you seen the TikToks where they're talking about how he lifted her dress, but he made sure not to touch her with the two fingers that he
No, I didn't really
when he
notice
puts
that.
her dress back, he uses his thumb and then does this, and then he doesn't touch her with because you could literally see the way he like uses his thumb to move her dress and holds his fingers up so he's not touching her dress with the fingers that he just stuck inside of her.
Oh, I didn't really know. I didn't really pay attention to that.
It's like he's still a gentleman.
Right. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, and then when like at the end of that scene too, where he's like, "Are you gonna come? Are you gonna come in?" And she's like, "What?" I
Her
was
family's
like,
gonna see me.
"Yeah." He's like, "Well, are we gonna get married or not?" I know. I was like, "Pop off, pop off!" And then to be real, after that, because I think that was like the very end of the episode, and
Yeah.
then it shows like the teaser for the next season, and the fucking teaser reminded me that he didn't know she was Lady Whistledown, and I was like, "Fuck." I totally forgot that that
Yep.
was a plot in the show. Way to
They
burst
gotta
my
give you a
my
problem.
dopamine. Yeah, way to burst my dopamine bubble right now. Could you have just waited?
But they do allude to something more spicy, which is the mirror scene.
Mm-hmm.
Which I am looking forward to because you know that Bridgerton is good on the spicy scenes.
Yeah. Well, and they've been PRing that particular scene and the carriage scene, but
Ugh.
especially the mirror scene for a while now.
And I've heard that they broke a piece of furniture, so I'm interested in what's going on with that.
Yes.
I heard someone say maybe it was a chase. So
Ooh, I hope so. I love me a good chase. I love me a good chase.
I can't wait. I really hope that they release bloopers for this season.
Yeah.
I saw someone else say that, and then I was like, man, them laughing, just doing. I really do think season 3 is my favorite. It depends on how the second part goes, but that
Right.
carriage scene really just like shot it to the top for me.
Yeah. I can see, like, I will say in the sense of, and with the upcoming mirror scene, I haven't seen it. It's just a feeling I have. I just feel like the sexual tension scenes are just so like sporadic, and that's what's really like and like different. Where I feel like in season 1 and season 2, they were a little like because they were very much slow burns. Like it
Yeah,
took a while before
definitely.
things happened. But even then, I don't really remember it being super like what's the word crazy, like a carriage scene,
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
remember it being wild.
I mean, there was that one scene in season 1 where they're in the library and she's on the like ladder of the bookcase and the
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But that was it. But that wasn't like that was like a passing scene. It wasn't even that like
yeah,
meant to be a main one. But no, that scene was wild. I was like, oh my gosh, oh fuck it.
all of them were like listening at the door like
Yeah, that's
what's
right.
going
All the
on in there?
maids. Yes. Oh, and also, I guess something else that we can talk about is I don't remember their names, but in season 1, uh, Simon's friends, the one that owns the bar in
Yes. Yeah.
Redwood, was
Oh,
it?
yes. Yes. And now that they're yeah. I like
I
that
don't know
though.
how this is gonna play out. I really don't. But I like that she changed out of those clothes.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I
Yes.
was like, "Girl, are you going to a funeral?"
I I liked that Benedict was able to give his like give him that piece of advice that like you're married, so you've done your due diligence to society. Now you and your
Mhm.
wife can do whatever you want and raise your children
I
and
loved that. I love that
yeah.
perspective that he gave, you know? Like, all the things that people were doing that weren't politically correct, but they were doing them regardless, like that one
Yeah.
married couple that always got drunk when really it's improper to drink more than 2 drinks, but they were married, so who cares? Like,
What are they gonna do? Go home with
who
somebody?
do they need to yeah, who do they need to impress? They
Nobody.
found their person. Yeah, I love that perspective of it a lot.
I'm
But
excited to
yeah,
see how that goes.
I am too, especially because I know he's having a hard time with like, and I don't know how like factual this is, but it sounds like this could be something that was a thing back in the day, but
Yeah.
how, yeah, like running a bar, and things like that. Like if you were somebody who was like high ranking in society, you weren't working. So it surprises me that I guess in this day and age, it's
Yeah.
different to compare, right? Because now when you're not working, it's like,
You're losing money.
yeah, like I feel like everybody's involved, like super involved in their businesses, and if you're not, it's not a bad thing, but it's just I don't know, a little more different. It's just different.
Yeah. A lot of people don't have that luxury nowadays. You
No,
know, like
no.
it well and like for people who didn't come from money, when you're not working, it feels like what if I run out of money, you know? Like if
Hmm.
we I know that like our son is like the Lord of Kent. It's Kent, right? Lord of Kent, I
I
think.
think so. Yeah.
Now, um like it's also in their heads they seem like the kind of people who would be like that's their son's fortune kind of thing because he's technically the Lord of Kent.
Yeah.
So not wanting to like spend that and then I mean all that the husband is really known is working, right? And supporting
Yeah.
his family. That's
And
a
it's a
big thing
different
for
culture.
masculine guys.
Right. It's different working classes in general. It's different like types of culture. Like where he came from, they don't go to freaking outings like they did with the hot air balloon. Things
Yeah.
like that. Like it's not really it's different for them. So I can definitely see the adaptation. And then how the sleeping in 2 separate rooms. I was like,
That's so
holy.
lonely. What do you mean? Yeah, they're married. Why can't they sleep in the same room?
I don't get I'm pretty sure I don't know if that was ever truly a thing back in the day. I'm sure it was cuz Bridgerton isn't super factual, but they try to like, make it
Yeah.
accurate in a sense. But if that was a thing, why did anybody ever agree to that? That's so stupid. Separate rooms and even I mean the table thing, right? We're sitting across from each other so far
Yeah.
like in Queen Charlotte,
Yeah.
like oh, and season 1 with Daphne and Simon when they move into his estate and it's like their chairs are like feels like thousands of miles away from each other. It's so why?
And it's so impersonal. Maybe it's because there are so many marriages back then that really were just like because you had to. So you don't necessarily need the closeness, but when you truly love your partner, you don't want to be away from them, you know?
Mm-mm. No, the rules were so weird. Oh, and then okay, Francesca.
I first of all, her actress beautiful.
She is. She's
Absolutely
very
beautiful.
gorgeous. She's very
She's
gorgeous. A lot of people
gorgeous.
have mentioned how it like they don't look the same, but her and Daphne have the same kind of like vibe to them, you know? And
Yeah.
they don't look completely similar, but they do look like they could be related or something.
Yeah. For me, it's the facial structure.
Yeah. Her face card is insane.
Dude. You're
Yeah.
telling me.
Okay, so I remember you asked me at the gym the other day, like, what I was thinking of her. At that point, I was only 2 episodes in, so I didn't know how I felt about her yet. But since I've watched the last 2, I do like her. I do feel like she's like an onion, right? She's got layers. And
Why not
I
a
don't know.
parfait? Parfait's got layers.
Yeah, a parfait. That sounds a lot more cute than an onion. Um, but yeah, she's definitely different. But I don't know, I like her. There's something about her just seems very like sweet and like pure and
I think we
innocent.
definitely relate to her in the quiet, like not really like kind of putting yourself out there, kind of enjoying your own like personal stuff.
Yeah,
Like, and then she kind of steps out of that comfort zone and she meets, and I don't know his name, and
the
that's
one
one
the
that I don't
queen
remember.
recommended or the other
No,
guy. Oh,
the
okay,
other
okay.
guy who gets the music
Yeah.
done for her.
Queen Charlotte is like, isn't she O for O right now?
Dude, I think that she needs to wait. She needs to wait until she figures out for sure who her person really truly like, because I feel like if Queen Charlotte saw the music sheet thing, you should know like that's different, right? And the fact that Francesca left immediately after, which I mean I guess could be taken in a bad way too, but I feel like Queen Charlotte should wait. She should wait a little bit longer before she like really recommends who the person they should end up with be. Give a little
Yeah.
more time.
Here's the thing, it doesn't ever seem like, and just to be clear, everybody, Bailey and I love Queen Charlotte. Okay, we do feel like now that we know her backstory, you can't make me hate her. But regardless, she's just doing this purely for entertainment. Even though I do think she has like a good heart deep down, like you never see her trying to get to know her season's diamonds. She could give a fuck
No.
less. She just wants a
Yeah.
good match. And she goes off of like their social rankings and who's the most eligible bachelor in the land, and she doesn't take the time to like, so it is a little kind of ironic that in this season she wants the diamond to be different, like kind of do more instead of just being a pretty face, but
Yeah.
she doesn't. She just chooses someone and the rest is like social ranking. It's a little
Yeah.
ironic.
I think that she probably finds it hard to be more emotionally invested. I know I'm
Right.
probably the only one that she truly, I mean, she has, I guess they've kind of given her something each season, right? Like the first one, they went before her and like, professed their love to her and why they wanted a marriage certificate to get married. And she saw the love between friends. And then in the second season,
Oh, Edwina.
oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the scene with King George. And so even though
Yeah.
she didn't end up like being with Anthony, the queen still had a moment with her, you know? Mm-hmm. And in the third season, she hasn't really, I mean, she had that piano scene with Francesca, but she hasn't had anything like, there's not a whole lot of emotion to it. It's only whenever they catch her at like a rare moment, you know?
Yeah. Well, she's not very predictable. Like
No.
she always looks irritated, but sometimes she is in a rather good mood.
Always.
Yeah, she always looks like she's upset, but sometimes she's in a good mood. Sometimes she's not. And you can't tell until she opens her mouth. So,
Same.
yeah. You really don't know. It's kind of like walking on eggshells. But and then we're jumping around a bit, but actually no. Before we move on, we'll talk more about Francesca and her love interest. But I did really like their scene where it was like, I'm going to come out here and we can just be silent together.
Yes.
That
yes,
was
I did like that too. And even when he came into their drawing room and he just sat there, he called on her and then they just sat there on the couch. And she was just fucking beaming. She was just,
yeah. And then they're all watching from the couch.
They're like,
what is going on?
Eloise is like, I didn't know you could just like not talk to them.
Yeah. Right. I know, that was super cute. I'm curious. I know I think you said you spoiled it for yourself based off of the books, but how Francesca's love story ends, I don't know. I do know that I've heard that it's sad.
Yes.
That's all I personally know. But I hate that. And we talked about this the other day, but especially because you can tell she's already so guarded.
Yeah.
So I don't want anything to happen to her. She just seems so precious.
Mm-hmm.
Or to
They
somebody she loves. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the ending per se. I
Okay.
just know about something that happens in her love story that, yeah, is sad. Her there is a big sad thing in her story, but I don't know
It's
how it
giving me
ends.
the heebie-jeebies.
So, and some people will know what I'm talking about, and some people don't. And I haven't read the books. I just saw a TikTok about it, and then I saw like four more, and I was like, okay, so it's not a coincidence. This is something that happens. And everyone's
Right.
like, if you know, you know. And I'm like, I didn't know, but now I do.
Yeah. No, really, TikTok is like that, dude. Like, I have to some scenes, I'm like, okay, I have watched this, especially like a couple days ago because I only watched the
Hmm.
last 2 episodes last night. But uh, people were mentioning things that I knew I hadn't seen. It's like, fuck,
Yeah.
scroll, scroll, scroll. I did see something that it was kind of a spoiler, I guess, but I
Hmm.
mean, I didn't really care too much. Was the hot air balloon scene, and somebody was like, before I had watched it, Penelope had more than enough time to get out the way. And when I watched it, bro, I was cringy. I was like, girl, what, like,
I
show, what are
know.
you doing? You could have done better. I feel like they could have done a little bit better with that. Like, make her foot stuck on something. Like, don't just make where she's like slowly
Yeah.
crawling away. It was
Yeah.
a
And she
little,
just starts like, backing up. And I'm like, oh gosh. And then
yeah.
someone was talking about how Lord Debling like slid in and like covered her with himself, kind of. But
Yeah.
like, what was that gonna do?
Don't know. Don't know. The only thing I feel like the only thing we got out of that was watching Colin pull it. That was that
Yeah.
hot. But other
Yeah.
than that, it was a little like cringe.
Yeah.
Next time, get your
Yeah.
foot stuck on a rope. I don't know. Do something to where she's stuck.
Yeah. Less cringy.
Yes, especially for Bridgerton because it's so well thought out.
Yeah.
That scene, I was like, the dog side eye. You could have, yeah, you could have done better. So
Oh, and then Cressida with her fucking ankle. Oh, I think a rope hit it. Bitch.
I know. I know, dude. I will say I am a little surprised. I could see it maybe changing, but Eloise is really stubborn.
Yeah. Yeah,
She's a
she is.
stubborn gal. It has surprised me she hasn't eased up a little bit.
I think, well, she kind of has.
Ish.
Ish. I think
Yeah.
that once she's not the only one bearing this secret, when Colin finds out about Penelope, I think that it'll be
A
better.
gateway. Yeah.
Yeah, because Colin is definitely, he's gonna have to accept it, right? Like he
Mhm.
can't backtrack now. You already inserted some of himself, so
Yeah.
he's gonna have to, you know. And so I think that once Penelope, or not Penelope, Eloise has someone that she can confide in about that instead of just Penelope, because all Penelope's the only one that like no one else knows who Lady Whistledown is. That's gotta be
Right.
super stressful for Eloise, right? Like knowing these things and not knowing if it's right or wrong. If
Oh,
she
and
should,
well, how Penelope, right? How to had to out herself, and Colin,
yeah,
and even
yeah,
talking about Colin, like having to read that about your brother, and
yeah,
you could tell she also, like I guess not appreciated, but the fact that Penelope wrote about herself too, you could tell
yeah,
she kind of had a little bit of, okay, you know, but
yeah,
yeah, that must be a tough spot. Like it does put her in a tough spot, especially when Colin's talking about when I find out who she is, this, and that. That also I could see starting, yeah, like a huge thing
yeah,
between their siblingship.
yeah. So I think that hopefully Eloise will lighten up once Colin knows and they could talk
Hmm.
about it. But I had in the teaser you hear Eloise tell Penelope, if you don't tell him by midnight, I will.
Yes,
So
yes,
I am curious how
yeah.
that will go since they're straying from the book in that part, you know. Unless they just kind of move the timeline. But
Well, and they in that teaser they showed Queen Charlotte putting out
oh, a
something,
reward.
yes, to find
Yeah.
Lady Whistledown. That
Yep.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude. Penelope's gonna be under so much stress in these next couple of episodes." I'm hurting for the girl.
I think that I'm hoping that when she tells Colin and Eloise will kind of help protect Penelope from the Queen's, like, like search, because they're not going to turn her in.
No, I don't
So,
see them doing that. I don't. That's gonna be scary though, because first it's gonna have to be like seeing how they react,
yeah.
or we'll call
Yeah.
in react. That's gonna in itself have its own aftermath, and then yeah, the pressure of the queen sending people out to find you. Like I'm like, oh my gosh,
I definitely think Colin's going to be mad. He's going to be
a hundred
angry at
percent,
first because
a
the first
hundred.
thing he mentions is Lady Crane. I can't remember her first name. The girl who was pregnant, who like tried to like get Colin to like, you
Yes,
remember that? And then she
yes.
outed her for being pregnant, and then
I
Colin found
totally
out.
forgot about that. Yeah,
And that's one of the first things he mentions when Penelope writes about him and talks about his personality and if it's fake or not. He said, after what she did to Lady Crane, after what she did to you last season, talking to Eloise, and then
hmm
writing about him, and then writing about Penelope, like, there's a lot of things that he should be angry about. But I'm curious how he's going to deal with all of that when he finds out it's Penelope, because that's a lot of, like, things that he remembers that
yeah,
Lady Whistledown did.
dude. I forgot that a lot of that happened. Oh, you know what we
So,
haven't talked about, which is kind of an obvious thing. Well, we talked about it at the gym. We didn't talk about it here. Penelope's glow up.
oh,
You know,
she's
Bridgerton always knows how to
gorgeous.
do a good. Yes, Bridgerton
Yes.
knows how to do a good glow up every
And
time.
the
They're gonna
colors
do
they
it.
put her in, that green, is
It made
so
such a
pretty.
difference. It made
Yep.
such a difference. The I never. I feel like in idea, the yellow doesn't sound like it would be bad with the red contrast, but it was. It just never looked good, especially with all the patterns. I think maybe a
Yeah.
solid yellow might not be that bad, but yeah, the flower floral patterns they're so bad. But her like in green, she
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of Poison Ivy. I was like, "Pop off,
Oh,
girl! You look
so
so
pretty.
pretty." Yes, the glow up was so good. Even Colin was pretty good.
And the mom was like, if she wants to wear such sad colors, just let her. Oh, dude, her
Oh
mom.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which part?
The first part that comes to mind is when her mom was like, did you honestly think that you were going to find somebody? Like,
Oh yeah. Like
I,
you're gonna just take care of mama for the rest of your life. It's like
I, I was like,
what?
you're so worried about pawning off your other two daughters, them making babies. You have three. I
Mhm.
don't understand. Like, I don't know. And then they shit on
Yeah.
Penelope too. Like,
Yeah.
is it just because she's? Well, I mean, I know she reads the books and all that stuff, and she's not like a slim character. So I guess she
And
doesn't
she's
fit society
different.
standards.
Yeah, she's different from them.
Yeah.
I can't like yeah, she likes to read. She's not into the super superficial
Yeah.
kinds of things. She's an outsider like the wallflower where she's never
Mm-hmm.
really on the dance floor. She's always kind of lingering around. Um but yeah, it's weird her relationship with her mom. You can tell, at least I get the vibe that it's like her mom does love her. I feel like her
Yeah.
mom has, even though there hasn't been anything that alluded to it, I feel like it's more in the expressions when they have certain
Mm-hmm.
conversations about certain things. And her mom says really shallow things, but I do feel like her mom has a sort of soft spot for Penelope.
She does. Because even
Yeah.
she's very big about like social standing and stuff. And even when Penelope gets outed by uh, Lady Whistledown,
Yeah.
she doesn't really give Penelope a super hard time like she
No.
would have, I feel like, for one of her other daughters.
Yeah.
Like, and then she ends up telling the other two girls, she's like, Penelope could do worse than to get Colin Bridgerton's help, like to be
Mhm.
connected to the Bridgertons.
Yeah.
And then the scene where Lord Debling rejects her And she's like, do I only matter to you when I have a Lord's ring on my finger? And her mom was speechless. Like, she couldn't say it. She felt, and her daughter was like, oh, I'm pregnant. And
Yeah, she
all of
was
that push.
awestruck.
Yeah. Awestruck. So all of that pushing for her other two daughters to get pregnant. And she couldn't even be excited about the heir being like possibly there. But what Penelope just said to her.
Yeah. And in a certain aspect, like, don't get me wrong, her mom is does some pretty messed up things. A pretty
Yeah.
questionable moral character. I
Yes.
don't know that I per se hate her. She is kind of, like, shallow, but, like, she's
Yeah.
really trying to protect, like, in a certain standing, like, that social aspect. Like, she wants her
Mm-hmm.
daughters to be well off, and she will go crazy lengths to make sure of that. So there's
Because
a little bit of respect I have in that, I suppose.
do you remember? So you know how that guy comes in and he's like, if I find out this letter is forged, that letter
Yeah.
is forged, right? I can't remember from the second season.
Yes.
She did, right?
I believe it is. Yeah, because I kind of actually forgot it when I was watching a little bit. Like, I forgot that happened, but how she kicked out their cousin. But didn't she blackmail him with something? Oh, yeah. She blackmailed him with being alone with one of her
That's
daughters.
right.
And then she
That's
told him that
right.
if you don't leave, I'll, like, out you to society that you did
Yep.
this.
And I'll
And
force you to marry her.
yes. I don't remember, though, if he signed those documents and then left, or if I think she might have just forged it.
I think she forged it. And that's why the
Yeah.
guy's poking around.
Yeah. Because it was suspicious. He just upped and left and then gave
Yeah.
them
And then
everything.
left. Yeah. Yeah. Like,
That was
And
so
her husband
crazy.
just died too.
And I don't completely remember everything in season 2. I don't remember the cousin being a bad guy. Right? Like, wasn't he pretty kind to them? Like, he wasn't trying to kick him out. He did want to marry somebody.
Cressida.
Yeah, and
He
Cressida's
was
shallow, but I mean,
he
can you
they
hate the
were
guy?
I think they were worried that he was going to marry Cressida Cowper and then he was going to kick them out. Like, he was not going to support them. He was going to marry outside the family and then make them, like, basically live on their own. Like, I don't know how that would have worked in, like, social standing. I
Yeah.
just
Right.
it was because she was concerned, the mom was concerned about her, like, where they were going to end up.
I feel like Cressida always gets, like, the shit end of the stick.
Hopefully this character development means in either the next part of season 3 or somewhere down the line she meets somebody. But I have been seeing TikToks about her possibly being gay.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if that's in the books. And I don't know if it's just people who are simping over her, like,
Yeah.
and Louise because they think it's cute between her and Louise. But I feel like it's definitely just a friendship. But I have seen quite a bit of people talk about Cressida.
That could happen. I haven't actually thought about that too long. I've had moments where I've wondered if Eloise was a lesbian.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. But I know that she ends up with a guy. So,
How do you know, though? Maybe in the books.
that's true. I mean, if they have to follow the books, though, right? To some extent, they can't make that big of a difference.
I don't know. Maybe. Because if you think about it, they do modernize a lot of things. Like, obviously in the books, there weren't a lot of interracial couples.
Yeah.
Or, like, that could be their way of kind of putting some sort of, like, I guess, inclusivity in it
Yeah.
in this day and age.
If they did it for Louise, I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cressida was. And they kind of had a side character change their backstory and have her start
Yeah.
dating a woman. Or, like, I mean, I don't know how it worked back then in that kind of society. Because there were the Queen Charlotte and King George. They're, I don't know, what would they be called? Footmen? No.
Yeah. I don't know what
Brimsley.
Yeah.
Brimsley
Yeah.
and the other guy.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a secret love, right? And then her father is also pushing her. I could see them making it her as well because it'd be a nice little side story of, like, her dad pushing her to marry somebody already, and she's not real
Yeah.
interested in marrying a
Well,
man anyway.
you saying that reminds me. I don't know if you remember, but we talked about it, like, when you and I had just kind of gone through that season 1 and 2 Bridgerton binge.
Mm-hmm.
But I told you how each book has kind of like a theme to the love story. Like one is like enemies to lovers, one is like friends to lovers, like things like
Yeah.
that. I believe Eloise's story was labeled a forbidden love story. And initially, because we were only going off of season 1 and season 2, we thought that it was due to, because that guy, I think his name was Theo, the newspaper guy. We thought it might
Yes.
have been a class social ranking thing, but it could be that when it comes to her season, it could very well be like with a woman
I
in
would
that
be
sense.
interested to see it. I mean, I think I would still very much like to see the season if they did that. I would be interested in how they play that out and how they try and keep the same premise of the original story, but then having to change things around.
Yeah. I could see that happening. I could.
Now I'm curious. Now I'm ready for season what? Well, as the next one's not even her. It's Benedict, right?
Ooh, I don't remember actually. I think you're right. I think it is Benedict after this. Let me Google it real quick.
Yeah.
Um so what the first thing that comes up says that it's not confirmed, but they believe it'll be Benedict's story.
Okay.
Some people have also said it's possible that Francesca will be the main focus. And in the current season, and then the plot line will follow her societal debut, whatever that means. I don't know.
I could see that. I could see that happening.
Another one says that some people think that given the this would make sense. Given the promo materials, some people think season 4 is going to be more of a mixed ensemble with Benedict playing the main focus for the first half and Eloise taking on the second half.
Interesting.
And I wouldn't like if you asked me that before this season came out, I would say I don't think they would do that, but if you I don't know if you noticed, but when I was watching, I was like they're adding so many different plot lines right now, which
Yep.
kind of surprised me. There's just so much going on that I'm like I thought they would have saved this for like the next season or something.
Yeah.
So that could be a thing, maybe.
I could see it because I definitely feel like there's equal time between Francesca and Penelope, in my opinion. Maybe there's a little bit more Penelope, especially with the ending episodes, but I do feel like Francesca has come up a lot for someone
Yeah.
who just debuted. Too.
Yes. Right. Like what would the point be, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. That'll be interesting. And speaking of Benedict,
He honestly, I think that I might be a Benedict girly.
oh, yeah, real. He was the only Bridgerton that I feel like never needed to glow up. The guys. Anyway,
Yeah, the guys.
didn't need no touch up.
No. Him last season was probably one of my favorites when he was high at the dinner and he was sitting in the chair and he's just like
Yeah.
he
He's
was
very
so
silly,
cute.
goofy, very open, you know, and he's
Yeah.
not very traditional. I think he likes like women who are a lot more like they don't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I don't see the girl that's in the season now being his longtime lover.
I don't
Something
think that
about
it
it,
is.
yeah, something about it is I don't know. It's almost giving me the same energy as Antony and the girl in the first season. I don't remember her name.
Oh, I don't remember her name, but yeah, she was the singer.
Yes, like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
kind of giving me that vibe. Like it might be happening
Yeah.
now. I don't see it being something in the long run, though.
I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
And because he's never I don't think it will be, and one of the main reasons I don't think it will be is because he's never been married and she's a widow. Like, and I just don't see him marrying a widow. Even though she's really young, and she's cute.
I don't see him. Oh well, I get what you're saying.
Like society-wise.
Yes,
Not that he
totally.
wouldn't himself, but like society-wise. Like he's still like
Yeah.
fresh meat.
Yeah. Right.
And he has to have kids and stuff. Like it's about having kids, and she's older. I mean, she's not very old, but like that's something that you have to take into consideration, especially when you come from a family like the Bridgertons.
I wonder with his personality type what kind of woman he would balance him out, right? You know?
Someone as open as he is, definitely a lover of the arts, maybe.
Yeah.
What do you
I don't
think
know.
of Lady Danbury's brother and
Dude,
Violet? I am
I
so
know.
excited to see how that plays out because I know last season she was like my garden is blooming, and
Oh
now Lady
yeah.
Danbury's brother's in
That's
town,
in
and
Queen Charlotte, right?
is it in Queen Charlotte? Maybe.
Yeah, that's in Queen
Yeah,
Charlotte, yeah.
it's
Ooh, I don't yeah,
yeah.
that see, and that's another variable where I was like, gosh, there's so much going on. Like,
Yep.
so many, like, love interests. Yeah, I mean, so far, I like them. I mean, I think Violet deserves to feel love have her garden bloom again.
Yes. Yeah.
I think she deserves to be fertilized again. Um, but I am curious as to why Lady Danbury and her brother have such a tense relationship and why she doesn't like him.
It sounds to me, the way she talks to him, that he makes poor decisions that she doesn't support because she is Lady Danbury and because she has a specific like standing in society and like practices and like guidelines of like what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. And from what it sounds like, her brother likes to kind of do his own thing.
If that's what it is, then I mean, I would like that. That's not a
Yeah.
bad characteristic to have.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he just doesn't, he's not as aware of like, or he doesn't follow rules like he's supposed to. Society rules, anyway.
Do you
But
think
Lady
that's it though?
Danbury's may,
Yeah, I
I
feel
don't,
like
I
there
think
has
there's
to
more
be.
to it.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be like some event that happened or something that he did that
Yeah.
because how she like I could understand. So if his personality is where it alludes to that, right, where he's just a risk
Hmm.
taker and Danbury cares about social standing, I just feel like how she talks to him, it's not like a good balance between like banter
No.
and like you irritate me. It's literally like she just doesn't want him there, and
Well, she brings up him having rakish behavior, which makes me wonder if he slept with someone he shouldn't have and it affected her.
mm-hmm.
But she's not one to say anything because she was sleeping with Violet's dad while he was married to Violet's mom.
Lady Danbury was getting it down. She was busting it down with
Yes, she
Violet's dad.
was. Yes.
She was
Yes,
almost
she was.
Violet's stepmother. Yeah.
She really almost was. So I because she does bring that up like once or twice. Like if you're gonna rake about town, just do it. Don't involve me in your stuff. But it
Yeah.
sounds like he's looking for love.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'm interested to see where that goes, honestly. So many love interests this season, dude. It's crazy.
It's
I can't
a
I can't even
lot,
keep
but
up.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I love it too. Well, I love it so much, but then I'm like, gosh, what are you guys gonna have to work with next season? I'm sure they'll
Yeah.
figure it out. I know they
Oh
will,
yeah.
but I'm like, damn, y'all are giving us a lot.
I love it. I love it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it as well. I don't know if it was just me, but you know when their secret gets exposed that Colin's like helping her find a husband? I feel like that was so dramatized.
It was the like echoing of the whispering in the background. She's helping with Colin Bridgerton.
Yeah, it's like who cares? I
It's
don't
like
know.
shut up.
Why is that weird? I don't that's maybe a modern take. I don't know. I just don't see that being that weird.
Well, like him helping her
Yeah.
because he's an eligible suitor. If he's spending
still.
time with her like that, there aren't like back then there wasn't friends between male and female. If you were friends, there's probably something going on. And that the fact that she had to ask a man for help in getting a husband, a lot of women would be like, oh, you have to ask for help, you can't just get a husband because of the way you look or the way that you are. Like
Yeah.
I think it was partially that and partially that you're not supposed to be however you say it,
Yeah.
fraternizing with
Yeah.
the other gender, you know.
Yeah, and being like alone.
Yeah, well, they don't
All that
even
good
know that
stuff.
they were alone because if they knew that they were alone, they would have been forced to get married in the first place because that's how Daphne and Simon ended up. Well, Cressida saw them, right? But that's how Daphne and Simon ended up together because they ended up in the.
Well, it was because they were caught kissing.
Yeah. Well, they weren't sure they were caught kissing. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, no, you're right. Anthony caught them.
Yes, but it was okay. Anthony
Cressida.
caught them, and Anthony told them like, "You will marry her now."
Yeah.
But Cressida had also been at the balcony, so
Yes.
she had also seen it happen because she made a
Yeah.
comment to Daphne when
Yeah.
she was walking back in. So she had also seen it, so she wouldn't have been able to get away with it.
Well, Eloise caught Penelope there and knew that she was with Colin.
Yeah. See, that's another thing. Eloise befriending her, like after what she did to Daphne. She made Daphne's like in season 1, Cressida like was a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So also the fact that Eloise befriends her after questionable Eloise, very questionable.
Well, and even Violet sees it, right? Like the mom, she tells her, like, please tell me that you're making other friends besides Cressida Cowper because
Hmm.
she's kind of shady, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I do feel like Cressida's grown a little bit this season, but
Have you seen her the fucking library, her house?
yeah, dude, it looks like it's like a test house.
Yes, and you know what? We might also feel such a dramatic like feeling towards it because none of the other like sceneries in Bridgerton are like that. They're
Mm-mm.
very like light colored and open.
Yep,
So in
it's very dark and
contrast,
gloomy.
yes, in contrast, you notice it right away. I'm sure if
Mm-hmm.
like it started off with that, we might not think twice. But yeah, when you compare it, you're like, damn, that looks so depressing.
Yeah, she definitely does not have a happy home life. I could tell her mom cares about her, but one of the big reasons I feel like she's the way she is because of her dad.
Hmm. Could you see Cressida and Lord Debling ending up together?
Maybe. I mean, he's very calm and quiet, and I could see him kind of giving her that like peace that she needs because it seems like she lives a very unpeaceful life. Her father always in her up her butt, and her mom trying to sh- give her to any person
Yeah,
who will take her.
yeah.
And
Well, there was one point I know she, and this was I might be like reaching here, but there was one moment where he had said something and you could tell it resonated with her. And then that was it. But it was when they were at the event with the hot air balloon. And I think he says that, oh, he doesn't get along well with his family. And so he prefers to be alone. And she's like,
mhm,
you don't get along with your family? And at first, when I saw her like reaction to it, I thought it was a negative reaction. But you can tell after a couple of seconds, she kind of like smiles
yeah,
a
it
bit
like
because she doesn't
normalized it
either,
for
right?
her. Yeah,
Yeah, right. It made her feel a little better because she doesn't either. Um, and I haven't seen a lot of moments like that with her, and so I don't know. I felt like seeing that, and then she proceeds to like fake that she likes birds and shit. So you could easily argue that that was
yeah,
just
yeah,
showing character development on her behalf. But still, I thought that
yeah.
was that was interesting insight into her. I guess.
I would be. I think that her and Lord Doubling would not. They wouldn't make a bad match. I think
Yeah.
it would take a little practice, but they
I,
would. I think they would work.
that would be an easy way for the show too to because even him, right? He wasn't necessarily looking for someone to be in love with, but just
Hmm.
practicality. It would be nice to
Yeah,
have that happiness. And with Cressida's personality, I feel like that could work great for her because it's really about social standing, right? She doesn't
yeah.
seem like she's looking for the love of her life and
No.
this, and that. So I could also see that being an avenue they maybe that keeps her in the show, but him
Yeah,
not always there
yeah.
either. So
If she doesn't end up with Eloise,
yeah, right. If they don't go that route. Look, I'm telling you, I feel like that's what's gonna happen with Eloise. I don't know that it'll be with Cressida per se,
yeah.
but I do feel like that's what it's gonna be. I don't know though. I don't know. I just work here. I don't know.
Friend, we've done this for a full hour.
We have. Damn, no wonder our gym sessions go by.
Yeah. We're
Yeah, just so you guys know,
yappers.
when we go to the gym, yeah, we yap about whether it's Bridgerton or the latest gossip. We're really Penelope in a sense. I think we might be related to her somehow. We love our
Just a little
books.
bit.
Hopeless romantics.
True.